What's going on, guys? We're back here in the garage. It has been a week or two since you guys have seen a video, but I went to the machine shop today and I picked up my beautiful 243 heads. Now, these guys got the trick flow, valve seals, dual valve springs, retainers, new keepers, all that jazz in, not to mention the whole head got dunked in the parts cleaner, so we are nice and spotless up in here. Spin it around. I also had the heads decked so that the mating surface for the head gasket is perfect for when it goes onto the block. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of get these finger tight with a couple of head bolts on the block with the head gaskets, and I'll be able to put my valve covers on that I painted, and I'll basically be able to see what this engine looks like assembled. So we're getting really close to the point of putting this thing together for good. Now that the heads are back, I just got some Brian Tooley push rods in the other day. They're over there. So I have push rods. It's basically just tightening the heads down, torquing the head bolts however you have to torque them, and then I still next week I'm going to order the improved racing baffle for the oil pan. Then the engine's all wrapped up. I'm still going to do some sensors and things like that, like the cam position sensor, the oil pressure sensor, but the meat and potatoes of the engine is going to be assembled and good to go. Now, while I haven't been putting videos out because I haven't really been recording much because there hasn't been a whole lot going on, I've been starting to work, while I was waiting for the heads to get done and all that, I was just starting to work on little random projects. So like inside the car here, I took the steering wheel off. So, you know, I basically figure out what I have to do to relocate the buttons from the steering wheel. They're gonna go over on the side here. It's just a matter of connecting these wires to this plug and running the wires down there, because I want to be able to, since I'm going to be running a factory cluster, these are the buttons that let you toggle through, you know, oil temp, oil pressure, water temp, and all that on the dash. So I definitely want to keep those. And then I also was putting some stuff together in the engine bay. I got the battery tray back in here, the battery reinstalled. I decided to keep it in the engine bay for simplicity's sake. It was going to go in the trunk, but I want to keep this car simple as I can. There's no reason to really put it in the trunk, because in where it sits in this car, you know, it's out of the way. It's not like it's sitting up front or anything like that. Got the wiper cowl back on, and then I'm kind of just in the process of getting the expansion tank back in there so that I can get the brake booster hooked up and all that jazz, and we'll be good to go. So I'm really excited. Things are starting to get back together. I still got a lot of stuff to buy, but you know, it is what it is. Got the exhaust disconnected from this car, basically just dropped it off the headers. So we're getting closer. I need to get the back of the car up so that I can pull the whole exhaust off, and then we can get the drive shaft off and inspect that. So this thing should be back on the road relatively soon, because I still want to mess with the suspension, pull some stuff off of this car, you know, do the old switcheroo. But I want to raise this car a little bit, pull the camber out of the rear, and just give it a overall just like a better stance. Over here, I have the rear hub off the back left corner, or back right corner of the car. Did the 5 lug conversion. So this is a base model hub that I put ARP studs into, extended wheel studs, and then I re-drilled the 6 lug V rotor to fit. Same exact process that I did on the black car, just repeated it here. So this hub is done, so this corner is good to go. I started working on a dual caliper setup utilizing a base model caliper that is gonna slide over here. So hopefully that goes as planned. You know, I have some things in the works for that with some friends that are in the business of 3D printing and have plasma tables and things like that. And then other than that, I've just been like, I wire wheeled the rear knuckle. All these rubber bushings are going to have to get burnt out and pressed out, because I'm going to be doing new poly bushings on all 3 of these spots here, and I just want to get this thing painted up nice so that when it goes back into the car, it's clean, nice, fresh bushings. 5 lug swap hub, dual caliper bracket. Basically my dual caliper bracket is going to utilize these two bolt holes, which were for the parking brake and the parking brake backing plate, and then this bolt hole, which is for the wheel hub. So now I'm going to clear off the top of the motor and peel some tape, depending on what side that head is for, get the new head bolts out, and get this thing mocked up on top of the engine, just finger tight with some head bolts, and kind of just see what it looks like all together. I'm super excited for this. Peel these guys off to show those nice, clean piston tops. Looking pretty good. All right, guys, we are getting there. These heads look right at home on this engine. So I'm gonna, again, I just have them in like just threaded with a couple bolts, and then like one inside of here just to hold them in place. But I'm gonna get the valve covers and just lay the valve covers on, and I don't know, maybe lay the intake manifold on just to see what it looks like. It's been a while. All right, look at this thing. I didn't do the best. I put the camera up there, but I forgot to hit record while I just kind of hung everything else. So the heads are just hung, you know, valve covers, they got fresh gaskets in them, but they're just like finger tight. Same with the covers here, or the coil pack brackets. You know, I painted those silver, the same silver as the engine bay. Look at this thing. Got fresh gaskets on the intake manifold, all down in there. Again, just laid that on top. Got that nice LS6 intake manifold. But like, I'm so happy right now with seeing this and seeing it together, because I never pulled a motor apart before. Fingers crossed that it works. And like, I'm so nervous about tightening down these heads. I know there's a specific sequence and I plan on doing that, but I'm still nervous about tightening down these heads and just everything else going well when it comes to first start. But look at this thing. I'm so hyped. It looks so good. I'm excited, really happy that I've gotten this far this quickly. Nothing's tight. The valley cover is not tight. I think the only thing that's tight is the knock sensors down there, but we got fresh gaskets all around. We got the nice clean heads on. I got to get a torque angle gauge or something like that for the heads, because you're supposed to torque them to a certain point and then use the angle gauge to do like another 90 degrees of a turn on each bolt. So I gotta, you know, get some stuff to prepare for that process. And yeah, I mean, we're looking good. We are looking good. We're almost there. We're getting there. And you know, I think the biggest part for this engine build is done. It's just a matter of reassembling and getting the improved racing baffle in there. I want to clean up the side of the block down here still, but I'm not going to do that until all this stuff is all sealed back up. That way I can just kind of tape it and worry about cleaning up down there. Spin the motor around, new oil pan gasket at the same time, all that jazz. So the LS6, I guess you could say, is finally assembled, and we're just getting that much closer to putting this thing back into the car. Next step, I'm gonna keep working on suspension stuff, like stripping down this front subframe, because we got a lot of oil grime and stuff on here. I'm gonna be making some new front brake lines and things like that, and basically, you know, doing the 5-lug swap and just refreshing everything up there, keeping the stock shocks in the car just in preparation for coilovers, because like I've said, I'm taking things very seriously with this car when it comes to drifting. So Morgan's been working on a proposal for the 2022 season that we're gonna send out to some people and see what kind of partners we can get on board with this build. I know I've been fortunate enough in the past to have companies like McLeod Racing, 3SX, Paul's Automotive, Werg's Automotive to help out with the 3000, but this thing's a whole nother animal, and we plan on doing events that are kind of like that next tier up. I'm building this to basically be like a Pro-Am car, so I want to do like the US drifts and maybe try clutch kickers if we have the budget going into the year and all that jazz. But we gotta get the car finished first. So that's just some stuff that I've been doing in the background while preparing in advance. In the meantime, I come out here after work and I just keep plugging away at what needs to be done. So this is probably gonna be a short video, but I wanted to show you guys, and I picked the heads up, show you guys basically I hope you're all excited, as excited as I am. But thanks for watching. You know the deal. Drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all that jazz. And I'll see you guys in the next one.